Brian the Geek here, and I gotta be real, there's one scene, one line in Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 3 that I really have to address because there seems to be a subset of fans that's really confused by its meaning and is pulling very bizarre subtext that is not there. So let's talk about it.
Are you my real father?
I wished I could say I was. But no, I'm not.
So here on the screen you can see this post that I found on Twitter that is one of many posts. This is just the one that I decided to pull out. Essentially saying that Disney is trying to make it so that Obi-Wan wanted to bang Padme and that Anakin's hate of Obi-Wan is justified. It's a ridiculous take, completely missing the entire point of the scene where Obi-Wan is talking to young Leia. So this is one of many posts that I've seen on Twitter, Facebook, kind of going around the internet, basically saying that Obi-Wan wanted to bang Padme and Anakin's turn to the dark side is somehow kind of justified by this, or asserting that that's the narrative that Disney's pushing, things like that. It's weird. It's like, what?
Say what again?
What?
Say what again?
What?
And I dare you, I double dare you,
Bantha.
Say what one more
Bantha.
time.
But for real guys, I don't know if these people are trolling or if they genuinely believe this, but it's really weird. Like I said, it just completely misunderstands all the subtext that was going on in this scene. And it's not just that, okay, they're throwing out a dumb theory, but the fact that they're misunderstanding the subtext means that they're missing a really large and actually really beautiful interaction between Obi-Wan and Leia and what it's actually talking about. So let's go into those, and then I'll get into a couple reasons why it's obvious that this interpretation that Obi-Wan wanted to hook up with Padme is completely ridiculous and makes no sense within canon. The first reason Obi-Wan may have said, "I wish I was your father, but I'm not," is simply that he knows who her father is. He knows he's Anakin Skywalker, he knows he's Darth Vader, and he knows that if Leia ever learns this, it's going to be really sad and really traumatic, which in fact it is when she finds out in Return of the Jedi, and that it could really kind of mess her up and destroy her. So he's feeling that, he's feeling the weight of that, and that may be one reason why he says this. Personally, that's not the main reason in subtext that I believe Obi-Wan is coming from. My interpretation is essentially that Obi-Wan is saying, "I'd be proud to be your father." Something like, you know, "I'm proud of you because of your intelligence, your courage, your strength, all these qualities, and like I would just be really proud if I was your dad." That was when I watched it the first time through, the immediate interpretation that I understood and took from it, that Obi-Wan essentially was building up Leia in kind of this really sweet, tender moment between them, as he's kind of adopted this temporary fatherly type role. I really think this because within the context of the show, they've really been building up this relationship. It obviously started off incredibly rocky with Leia not trusting him. Well, it really started off with Leia like punching him and, you know, not trusting him and running away and them getting into trouble, and Obi-Wan being pretty, you know, terse with her at the beginning of this episode. And then this is kind of a really big turning point. He did have, you know, kind of the soft moment of explaining the Force at the very beginning of the episode, and then he got a little more terse and gruff, and he's kind of coming back almost in a way of apologizing for being so gruff with Leia. It's almost like now, in the whole context of this conversation with him opening up about his past and everything, essentially saying like, "Hey, I'm gonna treat you more like an equal. I understand that you're young, but you're intelligent, brave, and courageous, and we're gonna be on a little bit more of a level playing field," and you really see that kind of playing out through their conversations in the rest of the episode. So essentially, this is kind of what I believe is the beginning of Leia and Obi-Wan really having kind of a mutual trust and respect in each other that we can kind of see play out even in A New Hope, through looking at Leia's message to Obi-Wan through a new lens you know, her "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope." Obviously, that now has new context through the Obi-Wan show that we can understand, like, hey, yeah, Leia trusts and respects Obi-Wan, and, you know, when Leia says, when Luke's like, "I'm here with Ben Kenobi," and Leia's like, "Ben Kenobi," and is super excited, you can be guaranteed now that, you know, this show is out, we can understand that context to be, oh, it's because she and Obi-Wan had this adventure and they became really close, and she knows what Obi-Wan is capable of, and she knows what kind of person Obi-Wan is, and she knew him as Ben, so that just makes sense. Now, let's address why the interpretation of that Obi-Wan wanted to bang Padme makes literally zero sense. And the first and biggest reason is his long-standing not relationship with Satine Kryze, as seen in Clone Wars and I think explored in some other media. And because of that, it would make zero sense, and clearly Obi-Wan had zero interest in Padme because he loved Satine, and then Satine died and he was, you know, kind of in that dark place of mourning for the rest of the Clone Wars. And none of that, you know, was even a subtext in Clone Wars at all. So furthermore, you only really need to look at Anakin's relationship with Obi-Wan and their brotherly love for each other to know that Obi-Wan would not, you know, have any interest in getting in the way of Anakin's relationship with Padme. It's revealed in the Clone Wars, as well as in some books, that Obi-Wan obviously knew what was going on with Anakin and Padme, but he just let it slide because it made Anakin happy, and, you know, he really cares about Anakin and wanted Anakin to find the happiness in his life that Obi-Wan hadn't had with Satine because he'd chosen the Jedi way. This really was maybe one of the fatal flaws of Obi-Wan, not that Obi-Wan was interested in having a relationship with Padme. So this whole idea that Disney is trying to retcon this love triangle into it with that line is utter nonsense. It's just complete nonsense. Obi-Wan loved Satine, Obi-Wan loved Anakin and therefore would not hurt him, and Obi-Wan's line in the Kenobi series in episode 3 to Leia was either because he wished that she had a different father besides Darth Vader, or he was literally just trying to build her up and encourage her, and was very proud of her, and, you know, just wanted to build up a stronger, you know, almost father-daughter-esque relationship. So that's really all for this one, guys. I just had to get this video out because it was driving me absolutely insane. Hope that you followed all my arguments. If you disagree, let me know in the comments below. If you agree, let me know in the comments below. If you think Obi-Wan meant something completely different than any of these theories, let me know in the comments, and I will catch you all in the next one.